Tiffany cards are deluxe editions of the standard sets produced by Topps between 1984 and 1991. They were sold exclusively in complete sets and featured fancy packaging of different colors, sealed with a sticker. They were distributed directly to dealers, not in retail stores and not in packs. Later in the year, Topps distributed the traded Tiffany sets to dealers as well. Officially, these sets were known as collector's editions. Topps Tiffany is a nickname that collectors later gave these cards. I feel like Topps missed a great opportunity to give these cards a cool name, like Topps Premium or Topps Elite. I'll be referring to them as Tiffany in this video. So Flair and Score did this for a couple years with the name Glossy. It was never as popular as Tiffany. And I want to take a moment here to shout out my buddy Darren at Grunt Baseball. That's his YouTube channel for all things baseball. Heading into the playoffs here real soon. Lots of stuff and information coming from him, like short clips and everything. Check him out when you get a chance. Also his website, grunttalksmlb.com. He's veteran friendly, and he has my videos hosted over there as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I'd love to have you on board. Okay, let's jump back into this. Tiffany baseball cards were produced between 1984 and 91 during the junk wax era. These sets had an extremely low print run. There are a few graphs of print runs online. They're easy to find. I won't be showing them on this video though. Because of the scarcity, graded singles are pretty valuable and sought after by collectors. Some PSA 10s have sold for over $10,000. Tiffany complete sets sell for thousands. Finding them in unopened sets are nearly impossible. Some scammers have even been known to reseal them to pass them off as unopened. Bowman received its own Tiffany sets in '89 and '90. Topps even made sets in hockey and football in 1990. These cards are very similar to standard Topps sets of the time, with two key differences. One difference is that Topps printed Tiffany cards on white cardstock instead of the typical boring gray cardstock. Another notable difference is that the front of the cards have a glossy finish. These cards, once removed from their sets, can be tricky to identify when looking at scans. If you are holding these cards in your hands, you can easily tell the difference. Buying them online is a different story. No matter how good you think you are at identifying them, the cardstock color and glossiness just don't show up in scans. The issue with identifying them gets more difficult when you start comparing Topps traded releases. Topps traded has an identical white cardstock to Topps Tiffany. The easy solution is to check if the card has a glossy layer on the front. Tiffany cards will have a full layer of gloss on the front, while Topps traded does not. I think it's important to point out that the traded may appear to have some gloss because the cardstock is white, but in person doesn't compare to the Tiffany. Because some sources have incorrect information and some sources are simply incomplete, we're going to go through each of the 8 years Tiffany was released and show you the difference. I'm going to show base, traded, and Tiffany. Now, first off, every year has base. That's the gray, dull, and boring, like traditional look you're used to coming out of packs. There's the traded. It has a T after the number. It's on white cardstock, and of course, T stands for traded, does not stand for Tiffany. Then the Tiffany will still have the T after the card number for the traded cards. It'll have the white cardstock and the glossiness on the front. Okay, here we go. So 1984, unless you are looking at the cards in person, there's no real way to tell the difference between Tiffany and traded. Okay, so not a good start, not an easy way to tell the difference. But in 1985, I have good news. They're easy to tell apart. The base has the sheet number, for instance, E asterisk. The traded has the double asterisk, and the Tiffany has none. Very easy. Now, 1986, same as 85. Again, the Tiffany has no sheet numbers or asterisks. Now, in 1987, things get a little weird.
It got weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
The base has 1987 Topps Chewing Gum Incorporated, printed in USA. Tiffany has the copyright except omits the ink and omits the printed in USA. Both the base and the Tiffany have the sheet number. The traded has the copyright info, omits the printed in USA, and has 2 asterisks. The quickest way to tell it apart is to look at the asterisks. The traded has 2 asterisks, the Tiffany has none. Well, technically it has 1, but it's in a different spot on the back of the card. So 1988, same as 87, no asterisks in gray cardstock in the base, 2 asterisks in the traded, and no asterisks in Tiffany. In 89, 90, 91, just like the 84, there unfortunately is no easy way to tell them apart. The base is the boring gray cardstock, but the Tiffany can only be separated from the traded by looking at the gloss on the front. I was shocked how many cards are designated wrong on eBay. I had heard of buyers getting burned buying regular traded cards that were listed as Tiffany cards. I would bet very few sellers actually know the difference. Here's a couple examples. So this Roberto Alomar looks bright and glossy on the front, but on the back we see 2 asterisks. Although the auction clearly says Tiffany, it in fact is not. It is the traded. So here's one more. This Canseco is clearly labeled Tiffany in the seller's description. For one, the cardstock is gray, but with the proper lighting, one can make it look like white cardstock. The for sure giveaway is the copyright. It says printed in USA, which Tiffany did not have. You have to be super careful here because you can't trust a scan. Either buy from someone reputable or buy graded. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That's all I got for you. We'll see you next time.